Alright, so in this video we're going to add screws. We're going to actually model a screw from scratch, and I'm going to give you the challenge to model some of your own, or you can just use the one we model in this video, whatever you want. Screws are always in metallic objects and most man-made objects, and it just gives a lot more detail to a pretty generic looking object. You'll see what I mean by the end of this video. Anyways, screws are such a minor detail that we don't need a lot of geo for them. So when we make a screw, we can probably add in a cylinder and just do something like, I don't know, like 22 vertices or something small, because we don't need a ton of detail. No need to go up to like 100 vertices, you know? So let's go ahead and scale this thing down on the z-axis. Actually, let's just scale it down in general. Maybe move it over, scale it on the z. I'm going to go ahead and apply the scale with Control A and just bevel this top face to add a chamfer. Like so. That should be enough. Let's go ahead and shade it smooth and turn on auto smoothing as well. Now there is one thing I do want to mention, and it is this website right here. Let me go ahead and get this into the view for you to see. So these are the HardOps Classic inserts. They're actually completely free. If any of you guys have KitOps installed, that's another Blender add-on. It's free. It's a little bit outside the scope of this course to show you how to get that set up. But if any of you do have KitOps or want to grab KitOps on your own time, there's actually this big collection of a bunch of screws and bolts and things that you can download completely free with complete instructions as to how to do that here. So you can just go to this Gumroad link if you'd like to do these and not have to model it yourself, because after all, screws are easy to model, but we're not going to be doing that in this course here. In this video we will model our own screws just so everyone knows how to do it from scratch. So let's go ahead and tab into edit mode for this thing. I'm going to join these middle vertices with J. Same for the bottom, just to keep it consistent. Let's also join these up since there's no technical middle vertex on the side. Join these up. And what I think I'll do is Alt-click on this edge and Control-B to bevel it. Now we're disturbing the curvature a little bit, but these are screws and there's such a minor detail it's not going to actually even show up. We're not going to notice it. Let's do a decent sized there. Let's make these even. I'm going to scale, well actually we need to change to individual origins, otherwise when we scale to 0 this will happen. It'll flatten. So change to individual origins. We're going to do S, Y, and then 0, and we're going to scale these a bit out. We need to change back to median point, and then scale on the y-axis just a bit like this. So let's hop into face mode, and I'm just going to go ahead and inset all 4 of these faces here with the I key. Give a pretty decent inset, and actually, you know what? Stop that for a second, I lied. What I do want to do is on these vertices, scale them in a bit. Same for these. Scale a bit on the Y, just to give this a little bit of, you know, curviness to it and make it more exciting. But anyways, we can go ahead and inset now. You see what I mean? I think this just looks a little bit cleaner and more like what you might see in an actual screw. So we don't need to go too far, just enough. And we'll go ahead and extrude this guy down. And there we go, now we have a screw. So we don't need to worry too much about the bottom of the screws here. As a matter of fact, we're not going to even see them. So it's more than fine to go ahead and delete out the bottom face if you want, just to save some geometry. Although it's not going to be that much at the end of the day, but you might as well. So this looks pretty decent. Also, what we could do is take this edge loop, extrude it, scale it in, and then extrude down like this, so that way there's like a little, I don't know, like a holder piece there. And now all we have to do is distribute these screws throughout the mesh. So let's go ahead and hop into front orthographic, rotate the screw 90 degrees over the X, and I'm just going to kind of start placing these where I think they should go. We can also go into face snap, and let's turn off align rotation to target unless we're on a curve. Go ahead and snap it about here, and just scale it in, get it in place. Okay, we'll just pull that out a bit, just to make sure we can see the screw. And you know, these can mostly be done by eye because no one's going to zoom in here and take a precise measurement to see where those are placed. Simply doesn't make sense. Okay, for this one we'll just make it a little bit smaller. That looks good. Let's add a few here on the grip, or not the grip, the magazine. Put 2 maybe right there, and you can just see these small little details really start to build it. That's why I love adding screws in. We could probably add 2 here on the grip, although I might change it later on. Now since the grip's curvy, I'm going to actually turn on align rotation to target, so that way when I snap it, it'll actually align to the correct rotation. So now we have some of those. We can maybe put some over here on this piece. Turn off align rotation to target to be safe. Maybe put 3 here. One thing I also think I should mention, I don't use it that much personally, but I actually just remembered it existed. So in addition to showing you how to model screws, we also have a screw library. It's called Bolt Factory, I believe. I haven't used this in a while. But yeah, if you turn that on, you actually get a complete library full of bolts and things like that. You can make your own and customize them. So you go to Mesh, and then you go to Bolt. And in here you can actually make all sorts of different things. You can do a bolt, you can do a nut, you can do, you know, make it Phillips and Allen, really whatever you want. So if you want to use this instead, you're more than welcome to, but I honestly think I'm just going to leave mine how they are. So let's go ahead and add a few more around here. I'm going to eventually ask you to finish the rest on your own because I don't want everyone to copy me verbatim. Not that I care, but I just think it'll be a good learning experience for you to figure out where to put your own screws and maybe make your own screws as well. I think I'm going to put 2 right here on this piece, maybe scale them down. Put 2 on that. And like I said in the last video, I want to, let me move the cursor to the origin, get that out of the way. I wanted to add in some screws here, so there we go. Conveniently placed. Scale this up. Let's move it out a bit. Let's go ahead and duplicate this one and move it in here. Okay, that looks good to me. We're also going to go ahead and add some up here. So maybe put 1 in this corner. Let's make sure it's snapped there. Maybe 1 here, and then 1 over here. Looks decent. Same for this piece, we can add 1 here and then add 1 here. Let's move these into a little bit of a better position so it looks more natural. There we go. And then maybe add some in on this piece here. So let's bring this in, maybe scale it up some more. We can add 2 in here. And then we can add 2 in here, like so. Okay, so I added in enough on my own. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is a little bit of a challenge, is I'm going to ask you to, 1, make your own unique bolt, any sort, whatever you want to make, go ahead and try to make your own. And then 2, I want you to finish applying bolts onto the rest of this weapon, wherever you think they should go. And then post in the discussion below your result. I really want to see how yours looks. So in the next video, I'll show you what I have, and go ahead and give this a try.